Alright, I thought the last video I made would be the last one, but I figured I'd make one or two more and continue from where we were going, because there is a little bit more to unpack with the cage system. So at this point, hopefully you've spent a significant amount of time on the 5 major scale shapes across the neck. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you the pentatonic scales. There's the major scales, then there's the pentatonic scales. Now let me just make it easy for you right now. Major scales, there's 5 across the neck, right? In pentatonic scales, there's 5. It's the same. It's the same. Now this is what you have to what if you understand it, it makes it easy. The pentatonic scale is the major scale, but minus a couple of the notes. Major scales, think a pentatonic scale is the major scale with a haircut. You just drop a couple of the notes. Let me give you an example. So this is the same day that I recorded the other two videos. So let's play in the key of D. Let's do the first shape as I was playing earlier. Okay, that's the full major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, using that shape, that same shape, there is a pentatonic scale that also exists on that same scale. All we're gonna do, we're gonna play that same scale, except we're gonna erase 2 of the notes. What notes are that? You're gonna get rid of the 4th, okay, and you're gonna get rid of the 7, the 4, and the 7. You get rid of those 2 notes. What are you left with? You're left with 1, 2, 3. Skip the 4. You have a 5 and a 6. You don't have the 7 anymore, and then the 8 is just a 1. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 5 notes. 5 notes. Therefore, pent, like pentagon. Pentatonic. So one more time, the full scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the note you're gonna kick out. 5, 6, 7, and then a 1. So those are the notes you're gonna kick out. So what would the pentatonic sound like if you kicked out the 4th? So here, one more time, the full scale. And now all you did was take out the 4 and the 7. That's the root, but there's still a few more notes here we can go on. Now, right there, the G is the 4th of D. Normally, you would play that in the normal major scale, but we're doing a pentatonic, so we're gonna kick out the 4th and go from the 3rd straight to the 5th. It's alright. I wish you could really see my... So. Oops. That's it. So you can do that with all 5 shapes. And those are all the pentatonic scales, the majors, that exist across the neck using the cage system. So C shape major scale, C shape pentatonic. Okay? Now let's go to the A shape. That's the next shape, right? So the full scale. Now let's erase the 4 and the 7. Now do you know where the 4 and the 7 where they are? It's gonna take a while. You're gonna have to look at the grid. Well, there's a lot of ways you can do it. You can look up the grids for the minor... Excuse me. You can look up the grids for the major pentatonic. Look at the grids for the major scales. Overlap them. And then you'll see they're almost the same thing, except the pentatonic just has a few notes that are missing. And then once you see that and understand it, you'll know that if you have the 5 major scales memorized, switching from that to the pentatonic scale is just, you could do that pretty quickly, because it's basically the same shape, just with a couple changes. So again, the A shape, the full major scale. Now let's get rid of the 4 and the 7. What does that sound like? Oops. A shape pentatonic. So we got the C shape, we got the A shape. Let's go to the G. Now we're in the key of D, right? So the root is right here on the 10th fret of the E string. The full scale, we could do one more octave. Alright, now let's get rid of the 4 and the 7. What would that sound like? G shape pentatonic. G shape major scale. So it's almost the same. I'm just reiterating. I know, I'm sorry, but I'm just really driving the point home that the pentatonic scale and the major scale occupy the same space. They're the same shape, the same scale. It's the same thing. It's just taking out 1 or 2 notes. That's it. Okay, that's the G. Now let's go to the E shape. E shape. So we're still in the key of D. So now we're going to hit the 12th fret of the E string, right? With the middle finger. Let's do the whole scale. One more octave. Because what you'll notice is that the G shape and the E shape are the 2 shapes that neatly begin on the low E string and they end on the high E string. That's why it's so tempting to just do 2 octaves, because it fits neatly. It ends right there. You can hit that note too if you want. So that's the normal major scale. So now let's get rid of the 4 and the 7. What would that sound like? So major. Now the pentatonic. I'm kind of going back and forth, so let me just play it up and down straight. Now let me have some fun. Okay, that's the E shape. Now let's go to the D shape. Wait a second. Oops! That was in the key of E. That was the E shape in the key of E. I was supposed to do the E shape in the key of D, so I was wrong there. So that is the E shape major pentatonic in the key of D. That's a lot of... Get that straight. And now let's move on to the final shape, the D shape. Here's the major scale. And then let's go a little bit underneath it. Okay, that's the full major. Now let's do the pentatonic. Get rid of the 4 and the 7. Alright? And then after the D shape, what happens? You go back to the C shape. If I could play that up here. Can I? A, B, C. Fuck, it's all the way up here. It's kind of hard. Anyways, so that's what's so wonderful about the caged system. It's extremely organized and it's extremely compact. It's extremely compressed. That the major scales and the pentatonics are neatly laid out in a orderly 5-shaped fashion. So if you really spend time and you learn the 5 major scales, transitioning to the 5 pentatonic scales will be very easy, because they are the major scales, just with a little adjustment. And now the next thing to learn, which I'll make a video of it just because I'm bored, is that as I said earlier, you have a major scale, you get a haircut, you take out the 4s and the 7, then the major scale becomes a pentatonic. Now with the pentatonic scale, remember 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, right? Because you took out the 4 and the 7, so 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. That's a pentatonic scale. Now you remove. This is getting too long. I'll just continue this on the next video. All right. Thanks for watching.